So here's a fun story. I'm driving along. Somebody leaves a couple of those peanut butter jelly Crustables at the bus stop bench. So I grab them. I figure I'll just feed them to the birds when I get to the end. I've noticed that people usually don't pick up food, even if it's sealed from bus stops. I'll go past the same food trip after trip after trip. And they were a little bit warm. They're supposed to be frozen. They're good eating frozen. And so this lady gets on my bus, whom I haven't seen in quite some time. The last time I saw her, and this is mostly a story about her, was I was at Union Station, and she was barefoot, and it was snowing. It was like 28, 30 degrees. And I'd happened to find a light jacket at a bus stop that was sitting there for a couple nights, I think, actually. Somebody's going to let them go for a while in case someone's going to come back for them. And so I shook the snow off and put it in the bus. She just had a t-shirt, jeans on, and no shoes. And she's just a free bird. And she gets on my bus, which we're not supposed to allow people barefoot on, but you know, what do you do when you see someone in a situation like that? So I hand her the jacket. She was grateful. So I think I'm going to go to Boulder tonight. Now Boulder's even a little bit colder. And hopefully some driver is going to let her on his bus going all the way to Boulder. I don't know if she did or not. So anyway, I hadn't seen her since that time that I last saw her at Union Station. And she gets on my bus. I recognize her. I don't know if she recognized me. But I happened to find a pair of shoes on that a trip or two earlier. Nice. They were convex, you know, leopard print. They're actually in the street. They just at a bus stop, so I threw them in. And I said, "Will these fit you?" She's again shoeless. And I found a small wallet too, but I knew she wouldn't want that because she doesn't carry $1 on her. She just lives totally free. Something to be envied about that. I thought, you know, if she asked me to follow her and leave everything behind, I don't know that I could do it. I was just thinking about the apostles back in the day and those who chose not to follow Jesus. At any rate, the shoes were like one size too small, and I was trying to squish her feet into them. These gotta fit, because I just found them in there, and you like the design. Nope, she said, they must be for someone else. Just easily just passes on them. Of course, now it's in the summer, it's not so bad, but still walking around barefoot. It is good to be barefoot at times to get grounded with the earth, not have rubber between you and the earth at all times. So it is a good thing to do that from time to time. One of my neighbor kids like to do that. She gets stuff on her feet every so often, but great kid. So I digress too often, I'm sorry. And so I'm grabbing these peanut butter jelly Crustables. I only have one at that point. I set up on the dash when I found them, and she said, "You have the second most favorite thing in the world in your hand." My second most favorite thing. I said, "Peanut butter jelly Crustable?" "Yes." And I said, "Well, I've got two. You want one?" She's like, "Yes." I couldn't tell her where I got it from, but it wasn't there, you know, the previous trip, so you know, I knew it couldn't be sitting out there too long. And so I said, "Well, let's have one together." And they were still sealed and they were tasty. And so we opened them up and she goes, "Cheers." And we touched the Crustables together and had lunch together. Just a fun story. It's just kind of fun who people bring in your path. And I gave her my yogurt and a soda as well, but she didn't want the yogurt because I didn't have a spoon. And that morning, oddly enough, when I took 2 yogurts instead of 1. I'd eaten one already. And you know how important bacteria is in your intestines. I don't know how often she gets yogurt. And so that morning the Lord said, "Take a spoon." I'm like, "God, you know I eat this with my fingers, or like the sealed cap, I use that, whatever. The spoon could get broken if it's plastic. I could forget it in my backpack if it's metal or lose it." So she would not eat it because I did not have a spoon. I should have listened to my instructions when I started my day and not assumed that I was the one that needed the spoon.